Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Dutch Guy's Garage. In this episode, we are going to be back on our 1978 Plymouth Volare Richard Petty edition. Let's go out to the shop.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. Do life instead of everything you know that you can get. Don't let them guide your life towards your grave.
What do you say we get thrown out of an Applebee's?
Welcome to Dutch Guy's Garage. This is episode 2 of our Plymouth Volare Richard Petty edition project. Welcome to Dutch Guy's Garage. In this episode, we are continuing our series of our Plymouth Volare Richard Petty edition project. This is a multi-part series, which you will find in our playlist. And this is episode 2 of who knows how long this is going to freaking take. Alright, so we went through and drilled out all of our spot welds. Further dissect this thing. This thing's actually really light. So it's going to be a lot easier to get out of here than I thought it was going to be. This thing is making a mess of the garage. So, what do we got left? We got frame rails, which that one's decent. This one's not. But this is the main thing I want to show you guys also. If you look in here, see how you can see daylight and like the I don't have. Do I have a light? See how you can see the whole heater core? Or the heater box? There's supposed to be sheet metal there. All the way in there. All that. Just gonage. Absolute gonage. Firewall's toast. I bet you if you ripped really hard, which I'm not going to do on that wiring harness, it would just rip the whole firewall with it. So, he's junk. He's junk. So basically what we found is a lot of rust. We were not wrong in cutting this car up in the least. So, yeah, it's garbage. There's not a lot to save. So, fortunately, it's got an 8 3/4 in it. And we did find the gas tank is very, very, very clean. And along with the sending unit, no rust, anything like that. So, we found that out. And as you can see, we went ahead and swung our motor in that general direction, swing that K-frame in there to, yeah, we got to move it forward in this general direction, but yeah, it fits, it ships, all that stuff. We got to get that one finished, cut up, so that we can, yeah, pretty much what we're going to do with this is it's going to be warm tomorrow, and we are basically going to take everything out. Everything that's behind this one and everything. So I'm going to wheel this one out back, and we're going to flip it over in the tree row because there's still parts on it, but I don't really feel like drilling it all off right now. And flip it over, take 8 3/4 out of it, wheel it back up here, bring the 1980 back inside the garage along with the rear axle. We'll swap the rear axle, throw the 7 1/4 outside in the scrap pile because that's where 7 1/4s go, and we'll bring it all back in here and yeah, free up this 6-foot space where this thing is currently sitting. So we're gonna do that tomorrow, and then we're gonna bring the old Ford tractor in because I gotta also rebuild the motor in the Ford tractor this winter because it decided to not have compression on a couple cylinders because it's 85 years old. So yeah. All right, guys, we're making some forward progress in our 1978 Plymouth Volare Richard Petty edition. For those who've been following the channel, yes, this is a rebody. We're using a 1980 Plymouth Volare Duster as a donor car. Now, we'll get you guys caught back up for those not up to speed yet. So, we have our said donor car. This car is actually from Alabama, so it's clean in all the important areas. Started messing with the quarter the other night because I was bored. We do have some very small dent in that area there that needs to be addressed. We had some factory filler that's quite thick in that area. This car I'm going to actually send out to be sandblasted, so I'm just kind of screwing around. The next step we need to take is addressing, I want to build the new inner fenders. This is our original inner fenders and 26-inch radiator support from the original car. This was a factory slant 6 car, the donor was, so it only had the 22-inch radiator support. So the original ones have quite a bit of pitting, there's some rust issues, especially in the forward inner fender areas, they're quite pitted. So what I've done actually is source NOS. So started the dry assembly of throwing all the NOS together. I did decide to go with the 76-77 style for the driver's forward inner fender. You can see in this area it's contoured, whereas after 77 they actually went over to a dimpled inner fender, and I think they tried to do this more to clear the wiring harness, but it doesn't need to be there. It kind of just looks like somebody went crazy with a hammer, so we're not gonna, I don't like that. I want a nice smooth like that side. It looks better in my opinion, so that's why we've opted to go with 76-77 style. Part number on this is 4005057 for those that care. We do actually have the 3795765s, which is the top of the inner fender there. That is where your hood hinge bolts. This, I know what you're thinking, why did you take perfectly good Alabama inner fenders off? And that's because of the 1980 style doesn't have that guy. They switched to a above design, so the hood hinges actually bolted on here. There was no separate hinge. It was all, the spring and the hinge were all together. So that's the reason why we dissected this off, and we had to do some minor repairs in the firewall. I wanted to redo all the seam sealer going all the way around, so we're dissecting that. We do have a minor cowl issue in that general area. The cowls on these do like to rot out, so I did do a kind of a rough cut. So we're gonna have to cut all this out and patch all this. That side is actually solid, so we don't have to mess with that too much, but need to repair that. So even the Southern cars did not get away from the cowl rot. That actually, cowl rot was the main reason that the original body we decided not to use. Yeah, there was basically underneath the exterior cowl, this whole area was non-existent on both sides, and then with everything getting in there over the years and rotting that out, it took the firewall with it. Actually, when you pushed on the brake pedal, the booster wanted to
take the rest of the firewall with it. So it was more cost effective to go get a more cleaner body from down south, despite its small issues. We don't have to do quarters, we don't have to do frame rails, don't have to do floor pans. It was just a more economical decision to use this rust-free body. So let's finish getting this jigged up and get the welder out. And so far I did notice that these cars were not known for quality, just like the rest of the late 70s stuff. As far as getting everything square on this, I did determine that this inner fender, from here to there, is a 1/2 inch shorter than that fender. So I am going to look at another one of our cars and see if that contributes over to the other ones. I'm guessing it doesn't, but we need to have that front radiator support being square, and then so need to figure out that 1/2 inch is going to be detrimental or not, or if we need to make it square to go off of. So trying to find the reasoning behind it. So let's keep going. All right, making forward progress. I did run out of welding gas, so we were a little bit at a standstill for the day. But we got our front inner fender welded to our rear inner fender. We do have our hinge point mounted on as well. We came up with 42 inches, front to back. As far as length, we got an NOS battery tray. And we even have one of these goofy thingamajiggers, an NOS thermo guard. That guy goes right over the battery there. And yeah, so we got a decent amount of NOS. We're going to be throwing this at this car through the whole restoration process. So yeah, look forward to that. A lot of stuff you will not see unless you're a collector, and you have been a collector for a long time, because Plymouth Volare parts are hard to find. So especially NOS. So yeah, that was the getting that squared away. Next step, we are going to be taking, got to do some rust repair. Our front radiator support, it's got some rot issues, so we're going to be dissecting that area off one of our other radiator supports, getting that all welded in before we weld it into the rest of the car. So yeah, stay tuned for that guy, because it's going to be fun. The other thing we have to decide is if we're going to be putting our fresh air vent in. Being as these are NOS inner fenders, they're not actually drilled for that inner air vent, which leads me to believe, because I have a couple sets of these and I checked them all, they're all the same way. The early 76s did not have that factory air vent, which is not a commonly known thing, but the early 76s did not have that fresh air vent over there. So this is technically a replacement for a 76 Dodge Aspen Plymouth Volare, but it works perfectly fine for us. 2.5 inch hole saw, and we have that hole technically. So still undecided, because this car is not going to be factory fresh, and that's kind of a gaudy hole. I've never really liked it, so might just leave that how it is. So I'm undecided. We'll figure that out when we get it back from sandblasting. So yeah, that's good forward progress for the day, getting that done. And then I'm going to build the other one and go from there. So it's always fun welding NOS steel that no one's actually ever touched. So as always, this is Dutch Guy's Garage. We'll see you on the next one.